Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam, just don't call me Sammy. I just got done doing a workout. I did a noon workout today. I don't typically work out at noon. I'm an early morning girly. Like, I'm going to get it done nice and early. But I went to a noon class today at Shred 415, and we got rocked on the upper body, like chest, back, biceps, triceps, you name it, shoulders. We did it all. And it's very hard for me to hold this microphone up right now. Why is the microphone so heavy? But it felt good. It felt good. It always feels good to really get challenged, to work the body hard. So I love it and hate it all the same. That's how I'm feeling right now. How are you feeling? How's your day going? How are you this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you listen to this podcast? I hope that you are doing great, doing wonderful. I just got back from a CycleBar training workshop weekend. I went down to just outside of Austin, Texas, a town called Kyle, Texas, and I had the best time, man. It was something that I really truly needed. And I've been very transparent on this podcast. I've been very honest on this podcast about some of the things that have been going on for me personally within CycleBar, my studio closing, my home studio, CycleBar Liberty Township, and how hard that was. If you want to go back, if you didn't hear that episode, Trust the Doors That Close. It's an emotional one. I listened to it the other day. I was like, damn, girl, get it together. No, but that was a really hard time. And I'd be lying if I said I haven't still had moments where I just get emotional and I just kind of break down. I have a closet in this room, my office here, that has all my CycleBar merchandise and shirts and stuff in it. And I don't get into it very often because I don't teach regularly anymore. I will sub or pop in, but I'm not teaching several times a week like I used to. So I used to be in and out of this closet several times a week. And now I don't go through those clothes as often. And I got really emotional preparing for this trip because I was going through my closet and I knew I was going to teach 2 times. And so it was like really important to me that I picked the right shirts for these 2 classes. I know that sounds silly, but I think it was bigger than that to me. There was this greater appreciation for the opportunity that I was getting to teach classes, to do what I love and ride bikes. And so, it was emotional for me, but it was a really great weekend and it was so fulfilling. And so I'm taking this episode today as a little bit of a Dear Diary episode, in sharing some personal realizations these last couple months and just kind of talking through it on this episode. I'm maybe something will resonate with you as well. And that's how we connect as humans, right? Through shared stories and personal experiences, because so much of what one person experiences, a lot of other people experience as well. Maybe not exactly the same, but in a similar way. And, I've had so much going on lately and such different types of things. Right. So, my CycleBar studio closes. I win Mrs. Ohio American. I start preparing for nationals. I'm got all this on my plate with nationals. I take on planning this huge fundraising event. And while doing all these things like preparing for nationals and preparing for this fundraising event, I have the weight on my shoulders, like what's happening with CycleBar? What does my future look like with CycleBar? I don't get to teach. Teaching was my life, was my love for 7 years. I'm not doing that, but there's all these other fulfilling things happening in my life, right? Like this pageant thing has been awesome. It was fun to get back into the event planning scene for a little bit, right? Like I had a great time doing that. I also started doing these workout classes at Shred 415. I've had a blast being down there. So I've had so many different emotions. I've been in so many different spaces these last 6 months. And it's felt fun, scary, sad in a lot of ways, chaotic. Like you name it, I have felt all of the emotions. But I think what I really, truly realized this past weekend was how much I love the fitness industry and teaching and being in the fitness industry. And I realized this weekend that it's a space where I feel like I can show up and just truly be authentically Sam. And so that's what I kind of wanted to like talk through a little bit, is what it's like to find that place where you feel like you can really be yourself, which then allows you to shine. It allows you to thrive. It allows you to succeed. And what I notice is that in all these different aspects and these different things that I've done, like the pageant, there are avenues and ways that I've been able to bring myself, my authenticity to this industry, to this thing, pageantry, event planning, these other things. So, which is so great, right? And I think it's a beautiful thing when you have reached a level of confidence that I believe that I am at, where I feel like I can bring my flavor to an industry or a space that my flavor may be a little different than what is typically there. And in that, I'll never forget, I started this little event planning job. It was big. It was a big event. It was a very big undertaking, but I was going into like an office, and your girl has not had to dress up and go into an office in a lot of years. Okay. And so since the last time that I was like going into an office space, my style has changed. I because of my experience in the fitness space, I have tapped into not only a space where I feel like my personality can really show up in a way that shines, but I've also allowed my fashion sense to show up in a way that feels comfortable to me and is loud and is bright, and I feel like is very in line with my personality. So when I was getting back into going into an office, I was like, dang, how do I do this? Like, I had no clothes really that I felt aligned with this more conservative, professional museum space. And I was like, all right, let's see what we can throw together. And, there were a couple days where it kind of became some of my coworkers who admittedly probably hadn't seen somebody dressed like me. But, I wore like my bright blue, electric blue, they called it at the office, blazer. And they're like, every day it's like, what is Sam going to wear? It's a surprise. And I think that it kind of became fun to them. But what I realized is that I enjoy being in a space where I feel like I can truly show up from a personality standpoint, from a fashion standpoint, like just a space that allows me to so fully be me. And I ran into this a little bit too in the pageant industry, specifically with the pageant system that I'm in, the Mrs. America system. Arguably maybe some of the attire and clothes are a little more, I'm trying to think of the right word, like poised and like put together. They're very Mrs. America. She's Mrs. America. She gardens and she cooks at home, and she's dressed very like professionally, discreet. What's the word? I'm trying to think. But anyway, I mean, awesome clothes, great time. But like, I'm a little more loud. I'm just a little more loud. I'm loud out of my voice. I'm loud through my clothes. Like, that just feels like me. And so, I got to bring some of my personality into the pageant experience, into the event space, and try to dress like Sam and be me. And even too, it was interesting, like getting back into working for the History Museum and the event space, like filtering my language a little bit and adjusting the way maybe I speak. Because again, I don't have much filter. I filter myself on this show, but I kind of allow myself to say whatever I want to say when I'm in the fitness space, which is so fun for me, and just truly be myself. And that all to be said, I went this past weekend and I felt the freedom. That freedom that I had always felt, and that CycleBar gave me the last couple years to so fully be me, who is loud, who is silly, who is maybe sometimes inappropriate, who loves clothes that are patterns and bright and just all these things. And I felt that freedom this weekend. And it was such a release, I think, from some of the things I've done. Again, I'm not downplaying the greatness and the amazing and the fun that I've had these past 6 months. But what I'm realizing is how important it is to put yourself in a space where you can truly be you. I went to today, after my little fitness class, I had a little time to kill, and there's this store that I've like recently become obsessed with. It's called, it's Akira. I don't know how I'm saying it. I'm going to call it Akira. That may be wrong. Akira, Akira. And I saw it online, and then I realized we had a store in Cincinnati, Columbus. And I visited the Columbus store one day. I was up there. And then today I had some time. I'd been wanting to stop into our Cincinnati store. I feel like this clothing store was like made for me, right? And I walk in there and I'm just kind of perusing the clothes. I mean, it's almost overwhelming. These clothes are like super loud. They're really different. I love them though. I'm like, this feels like the kind of stuff I want to wear. And this guy comes up to me. He's like, are you shopping for any specific event? Like, what can I help you find? And I was like, no. I was like, honestly, I'm just looking around. I was like, I found this store 2 months ago and I've been obsessed ever since. I'm like, I feel like these clothes were designed for me. Like, they're so unique. They're so different. They're so loud. And I was like, I just have to even be in this store just to look at all these clothes. It just feels so right. And he was like, I totally hear you on that. I feel the exact same way. And so it's a beautiful thing when you find a space that allows you to be you. And even today, when I was looking through some of these clothes and stuff, I'm like, God, I want this. I'm like, but if I wore this to this event, we're going to this Oktoberfest party on Friday night. I'm like, if I wore this to that Oktoberfest party, like, I think people would like judge me and they'd be like, oh my gosh, like, that's so crazy. And so like I hesitated, right? Like I hesitated to get anything for that reason. But if I was going out with like my gym friends, my CycleBar friends, or I was going into CycleBar Fest, like I'd absolutely feel comfortable showing up in these types of clothes. And that's just what I mean, that how beautiful it is to be able to find a space that allows you to be you. And I think that that's really important. And we're always going to have spaces, and there will always be places, and it may be your job where you got to filter yourself a little bit due to the nature of your job or what it is that you do or the place that you're at. And that's okay, you know, because you can still bring aspects of your personality into these other places. But I also believe it's really important to have a space so that there are moments in your life, whether it's just on a Saturday morning or it's a couple nights a week, where you can go and so fully be you, because it's freeing. That's what I felt this weekend. The biggest feeling that I felt this weekend was freedom. Freedom to shine, freedom to speak how I want, freedom to dress, like just this freedom. And not only to be myself, but to be around other people that I feel like get it, people who are similar to me, my style, people who get me, people who maybe are not exactly who I am, but appreciate me for all the same for it. And do you have a space where you can truly be you? And if you don't have a space where you can truly be you, can you find a place where you can go do that and show up 100% yourself? It's a safe place, a place where you know you're not going to be judged, a place where you feel like you can voice your opinion and there's not going to be combativeness or censoring or anything, like just that freedom to really be you in a space. We need that. We need that. When we find those places where we can truly be our authentic selves, it gives us the confidence to then take who we are into these other spaces. And that's what I found, and that's what I realized getting back into event planning, stepping into the pageant world, was I understood that there was going to have to be some filtering, some adjusting to meet the energy of the space that I was in. But I also had the confidence to go ahead and show up, bringing special parts of me into that space. And that's where the confidence and feeling good about who you are then can shine in these other spaces where maybe you can't let it all out, you know, but you can still bring those pieces of you because you have spent time in a place around people who allow you to truly be yourself, to be authentic, and you can find your confidence in your authenticity and then take that out into the world with you. So that was really the biggest reflection and good vibes, good feelings that I got from this weekend. Was I felt like I was in my zone. I was in the zone. I was in my space. I was with the people doing the thing that felt so me, that feels so me, that has felt me for the last 7 years. And I needed that refresh. I needed that reminder, even though it was a temporary thing. And I'm still working for CycleBar, and I'll teach a couple classes and stuff. And I'm getting ready to teach a new fitness modality, which I cannot wait because it's a safe space, and I'm really, really looking forward to doing that. But I needed like that dose of it this weekend, right? Like that reminder, like, babe, this is who you are, and take that and shine that into the world, and don't feel like you have to filter it or hide it. Because I think when you remove yourself from these safe spaces where you can really show up yourself, when you remove yourself from that too often, when you don't get that space to be your authentic self, who you are starts to kind of get hidden. It gets pushed down further and further because you're never in that space where you can truly shine in a way that is you. So you gotta find these places to where you can do that. You gotta take a little weekend trip with the right people. You gotta take a night off and go be with the girls who allow you to bring your best personality out, all these things, so you can build up that confidence and then continue to shine in these other spaces, being just you, which is perfect, exactly who you are. We need more acceptance for people based on the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they show up in a space, and just allow people to feel comfortable being them. And then you get to be you too, which is a beautiful thing. So I'm holding on to that feeling. I feel so fulfilled. I feel so good after running a marathon these past 6 months. I still got so many cool things coming up, all these fun things going on, but it's slowing down maybe a little bit, dare I say it. Let's just say like no major event coming up that I can think of. Although hopefully I'll be traveling again soon for work. I have a couple podcast guests coming up, so you guys don't have to listen to me just ramble on anymore. I've got 4 guests on deck getting ready to talk about some different topics. One thing with my guests on this podcast show going forward and throughout this year, what I really wanted was intentional guests and people that I believe are in alignment with my mission in the show to inspire, uplift, motivate the audience, to encourage people to be authentic, to encourage people to live their best life, all of these different things. So I'm really excited to bring these next couple of guests on. Maybe we'll get Joe back up in here when he recovers from just the letdown of the Bengals lately. I can't speak to it. I don't understand. I'm trying to practice football empathy, remember, but it's a struggle for me. So stay tuned. Get excited. Lots of great things coming up. Be yourself. Be your best self. Shine. Find that safe space. Find that place where you can be authentic. And I hope you have a great day because you deserve it.